All right, we're going to get started here in just a minute. Just kind of trying to give people a chance to get in. I know a lot of you are at work today. A lot of you, are at home today because work was canceled. Schools have been canceled. And I've had a few questions asking me about what tomorrow looks like. So we're going to talk about that here in just a few minutes. I know here at my house in Lakeside City, I guess about an hour ago, we had a nice little thunder sleet cell boom over, and the ground turned all white again. So again, what we're seeing today is mostly light stuff. It isn't anything that I would consider significant at this time, but enough to create the more issues on the roadways. It looks like most of the more significant sleet is out of the area now, but we'll continue seeing these little areas of light freezing drizzle throughout the afternoon and into tomorrow morning, into this evening. Tomorrow will be a different story. So let's try to talk a little bit about what's going on. I want to, before we get to the radar here, let's talk about the advisories that we have in play here this afternoon. Matter of fact, we can do that through this particular source here. So just give me a minute here, and we'll get back to that. For whatever reason, my camera just went out, so I may have to reconnect that. But at least you're still hearing my voice. So let me see if I can get my camera to reconnect here, so you can see me in addition to hear me. But at least you are able to still hear me. I have a different source I'm using for that now. So at least you are able to hear me. All right, there we are. You know, when you're using these webcams, I'm using my phone as my webcam. You know, a lot of times you have to adjust frame rates and stuff. So it's not a perfect process, but it is okay. It does work okay for now until I get more stuff. All right, so let's talk more about what the radar looks like. We can look at the advisories on here. We're going to start in our area. And of course, if you look here and you see, and if you hear a buzzing in the background, again, that's my computer fan. I need to get that replaced. So just kind of bear with me as I'm trying to work through some of these little bugs with this new platform I'm trying out here. So if you look at the radar this morning, you can see areas of very, very light radar returns there over our immediate area. That is a light freezing drizzle. It really isn't even that much, but it's enough to at least create some issues. Temperatures outside are running in the low 20s, so that is going to be all ice. If we look a little bit further off to the southeast, and I know you probably have seen the incredible traffic problems that have been seen down in Dallas. Awful traffic problems yesterday. And it appears as though the ice storm down this way is really getting underway. But mostly what you're seeing here, too, I believe, is sleet in and around Dallas. And you can even see some lightning strikes over there near Paris and Sulphur Springs, where there appears to be some thunder sleet or maybe freezing rain with thunder in it there over near Paris, Texas, and Sulphur Springs. That little area is moving eastward. I'm pretty sure there's probably some pretty significant issues going on in the Dallas area again this morning. I can look and see if there's any streamers down there. I don't know that there are, but let me see if there are any streamers in that area. Actually, there are no streams down there right now, so nobody to look at. So that will continue to move east. If you look south, there's more activity that's developed down towards Gatesville, Killeen, and into the Abilene area. So more freezing rain and sleet likely in Dallas off and on throughout the day. And from here, that's going to push over into southeastern Oklahoma and then up into southwestern Arkansas, where there's been pretty significant ice over that way. Now let's go up north into Oklahoma City, and we can show you here that as I try to put this on, these are areas of scattered thunderstorms producing sleet now from Oklahoma City eastward up towards Tulsa. Maybe some freezing rain too, but that is a pretty big mess. That's kind of like what we had over us yesterday. If you were watching me last night, I told you that the weather today would be similar to yesterday, although today was a little bit lighter than yesterday. I thought we might This time yesterday, I thought that we'd see a little more widespread stuff down our way today, but that does not appear to be the case. But Oklahoma City eastward, that's where you're seeing some pretty good sleet now and some freezing drizzle, freezing rain. You're seeing some freezing drizzle, maybe light sleet down towards Duncan. Let's look down to the south into Abilene to see what we're seeing out of that radar site down that way. And you can still see these little light returns. That indicates sleet. That's exactly what that indicates, is sleet. So I know I got a lot of questions asking me about the roadways, and I will get to all of that in just a few minutes. Now, let me take a look at advisories. Let's go back up our way. So what we're going to do now is take a look at advisories. Well, I did not mean to do that, that's for sure. All right, so I'm going to go down and turn on some things, some settings here. Give me just a second as I put this stuff on. So what you're going to see is we do have winter storm warnings out for parts of the area. Other parts of the area still seeing a winter storm watch, or excuse me, a winter weather advisory. Let's put that on, and let's put the winter storm warning on and the winter storm watch. Well, it did not. We did, yeah, you can see it there. All right, so the counties that you see that are kind of highlighted in pink would be a winter storm warning. I really want to try to take that and fill those counties in. And you may hear some dogs in the background. Lucky's in here with me. I had Jazzy in here with me earlier too, but she couldn't be still, so I had to put her out. But the little blue area you see from Vernon to Wichita Falls up to Lawton, this area is a winter weather advisory, which, you know, based upon the weather data that I saw last night, I felt like this should have been upgraded to a winter storm warning, or at least up to about Wichita Falls should have been included in on that. But you know, it's not. So at least at this time, and again, the Weather Service issues those, and they have certain criteria. I feel like ice storm warning might be more accurate in this situation rather than winter storm warning. There's different criterias, and I could show you those. But at least for right now, that is what we have as far as advisories and whatnot goes. So, yeah, the disappearing cursor has been found. That is exactly right. So that is it for advisories. Let me try to show you now what we have. Let's look at the weather data from this morning. You have to give me a second to pull all that information in here. Yeah, and like I say, you hear the buzzing in the background. That's my computer. I need to take it to the PC Pro guys in the mall and get them to fix this buzzing fan in the background. I am not a PC expert, so I don't know a lot about them. I know, you know, what I need to know about them, but when it comes to fixing things like that, I'm just not in the know with it. So, all right, so let's see here. Let's go in and let's pull in some data here. And let's check out, and I have not, and I'm going to tell you now, I have not looked over the morning data yet. Not yet, I haven't. I may need to adjust the frame rate on my camera there. I keep on pixelating out there. So it was doing great earlier. Now it's just all, I think it's my computer, honestly. I've done some research, and the research says a lot of times it's the computer, you know, that's making the glitchiness. It shouldn't be the camera. I think it's the computer. It could be the Wi-Fi. I don't know. So, all right. So let's take a look at the data now. We're going to start with looking at the NAM computer model, and then we'll go from there. The NAM has been doing a better job with temperatures throughout this event, and it usually does. And if you follow me enough, you know I'm not a big fan of the NAM computer model. I think it's a lot of times it's not right on its solutions. But it does handle Arctic air pretty well. So this was from this morning. You can see all the sleet down towards the Metroplex. But look at how most of that stays east of us into the afternoon, kind of over towards the Metroplex. And there's a bit of a reprieve, and there's just not a whole lot going on tonight. But then here comes the main storm system as we head towards tomorrow. And the NAM is slower than other computer models, but it's bringing, and it actually, the latest run is bringing less ice up our way. It keeps a lot of the ice down towards the Metroplex into Thursday. So if that's the case, that would be good news for us. It means less in the way of freezing rain. But remember, I take the NAM with a grain of salt, usually. Let's see what its higher resolution version does. And I will answer your questions here in just a few minutes. I know you have a lot of them, so we'll answer them in just a few minutes. So here's a higher resolution. It's called a 3K NAM. This was today, and you can see we had the freezing drizzle over sleet this morning and how it all just shifts out of here. And it looks like and I can't rule out freezing drizzle overnight tonight. And then here's tomorrow. You know, the 3K NAM brings a much more significant ice storm up our way tomorrow. I mean, it has a lot of ice, even into early on Thursday morning before getting out of here. And if you look at accumulations, and this is another thing you have to take with a grain of salt because this stuff oftentimes will be overdone. Give it a second to load. It's still loading in. So see, the 3K NAM actually doesn't bring heavy freezing rain up our way. It has a tenth of an inch or less. So that would also be a really good scenario for us. See, it probably has quite a bit of sleet in there too, and most of the freezing rain would be light. So that is good news too. The NAM is good news for us. Now, and again, I'm not a huge fan of it. Let's check out what the HRRR model is doing this morning. We're going to look at a couple things with the HRRR, and then we're going to look at the European. I'm not going to look at the GFS. And then we'll answer those questions for you. So here is today, and you can see how it keeps most of that sleet and freezing rain northeast Texas, and a bit of a reprieve over us. And then here we go into tomorrow, and you just look at all that purple that's showing up in there for most of the day tomorrow into tomorrow night, and even into early on Thursday. And that's a more, if that is correct, that is a much more significant ice storm for us, much more significant. You know, the NAM model, like I say, is I've always had a joke that says, I mean, look at that. It has us up to, it has Wichita Falls as far as ice goes. It has accumulating freezing rain. This was the morning run of it, and sometimes it can be overdone with these numbers too. It has between about 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch of ice accumulating in Wichita Falls, with lighter amounts to the northwest because it would probably be mostly sleet. It also has a swath of about 1+ inches of ice that goes from, well, near the Big Bend area all the way up to Abilene and into Graham, Jacksboro, over towards Bowie, Bridgeport, and then maybe another little swath of that down towards like the Metroplex. So if that were correct, that would be a much more significant ice storm for us. I would be really concerned about tomorrow if that were correct. I don't know that it's going to be, like I say, oftentimes these computer models are overdone with the amount of precipitation they put down. NAM was really light. The GFS, on the other hand, looks similar to the HRRR model. But the one that's done the best and throughout all of this is going to be the European model. Let's look at the Euro. Now, this will not show the precipitation types. What this will do is it'll show, we know temperatures are going to be cold enough, so that's not an issue. We know this is going to be ice. Question is it sleet or is it freezing rain? So this is the late night run of the European. The morning run won't come out until a little while later on. But it does have that slug of moisture coming up tomorrow morning and into the afternoon, and this too suggests a much more significant icing event from about Wichita Falls south and southeast. That does kind of keep it around, but it does move it out of here by Thursday morning. And if we look at, this is total precipitation accumulation. This is not ice. This is just how much water could fall out of the sky. and it has us at about a half inch. Actually, it's similar to the Her model, and it has us between a half and 3/4 of an inch. Look at that down towards Dallas, about an inch. So, and a lot of that's going to be freezing rain. Now, if it's sleet, that's the best case scenario. We can deal with sleet. Sleet just gets on the road out there, okay? But freezing rain, that's the one that accumulates on the bridges, or excuse me, accumulates on the tree limbs. It accumulates on the the power lines. So that is not one that we want to have to deal with. And I'm sorry, I'm changing the frame rates on my little web camera I'm using here. I'm using it off of my phone, and like I say, it's not perfect. It should work better than it does. It's supposed to work better than it does, but unfortunately, sometimes it does not. But at least you can hear me. That's the main thing, right? So let's take some time now to answer some questions here from you. And I will give this a few minutes to pop up while I'm working on my phone here and working on my webcam. I'm using something that's called IVCam. There's also EpoCam. A lot of streamers use this kind of stuff. There we go. Let's see if that works any better. But I am eventually going to get some more webcams and whatnot. But I got to work all the hiccups out of this too. So, all right. So here we go. Here's from Morgan Hope. Any ideas on when it will hit a being burning? Well, the rest of the day, whatever you're seeing right now in burning is what you're going to see for the rest of the day. Not much. Maybe a little freezing drizzle, maybe a couple little sleet pellets, but that's probably going to be it. So, matter of fact, that goes for all of us too. All of us are in a situation where we're seeing the most of the significant sleet is now gone. That was early this morning. Now just some leftover freezing drizzle, or maybe a little sleet pellet or two, but not much. Tyler wants to know, what time is the next wave supposed to start in the morning? I haven't narrowed down specific times. It just looks like sometime in the morning through the afternoon, and especially tomorrow evening. Looks like a lot of it's tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. Heather Wing, let's see, Macy Lundy wants, will it be gone by Thursday? Oh yeah, all this will be over with by Thursday, and we'll see the melting aftermaths of that. It's hard to say, Heather. I'm not sure. It looks like the bulk of it comes in tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. Could be pretty significant. We could deal with some power outages with that one. So, again, Nate, I don't have it to nail down exact time. Looks like it should start sometime by morning or by early afternoon and increase throughout the afternoon and into tomorrow night. I don't have any reports on schools that are closed for tomorrow, but my recommendation would be to close schools. We don't want to be in a situation where we put kids in school and then whenever it starts to icing throughout the day, and then they have to, go home on icy. So I mean, the roads are pretty dicey out there this morning, and there's going to be ice still around tomorrow. So I would speculate and say, yeah, school will probably be canceled again tomorrow. I don't know. I don't make those calls. They do ask me for my opinion sometime. But I do believe that school will be canceled tomorrow. Yes, I do think so. Let's see here. Will road conditions from Wichita Falls to DFW on Thursday be safe to travel? Not early on, but I think by the afternoon they should be okay. I think. Angie, anything that we see the rest of the day or even tonight will be very, very light. So basically what you see is what you get outside now. It's about it. And you're welcome, Johnny. You're welcome. I enjoy what I'm doing. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it a lot. So Archer City, Vanetta, you had some sleet this morning, but that's all gone now. Your roads are pretty slick down there, so be careful traveling. But nothing else really for the rest of the day or the night. Just some light freezing drizzle. Yeah, a lot of it this morning was just kind of southeast of you, southeast of Burke, Anna. A lot of it was just southeast of you. Let's see here. Do you think Graham will get much? I think tomorrow you will. Yes, I do think so. As a matter of fact, you're kind of in that area that could get above a half inch of ice, which could result in some pretty significant power outages. So, Lawton, Elgin tomorrow morning. Just some freezing drizzle around, and then maybe some sleet and freezing rain tomorrow night. But it looks like to me, at least based on the latest data, that the worst of it's going to be southeast of you. But I mean, you still look like you'll get some pretty decent stuff up that way too. Well, Antonio, people in our part of the country, I was talking with my wife about this yesterday. We deal with this. We do about once or twice a year. We have ice, but ice is really hard to drive on. So I can understand why they shut the place down. If you saw all the wrecks, there was a ton of them out there yesterday. So I don't know if Lake Kickapoo is slick. I don't. Jacksboro, you've had some sleet down that way, I believe, this morning. Maybe some freezing drizzle or sleet throughout the rest of the day. But tomorrow looks particularly bad down there, especially tomorrow afternoon. So, or at least that's the way it looks right now. I do think Vernon will get some ice tomorrow, Morgan. Yes, I don't think it'll be as heavy as to the southeast, but I do think that you'll get some ice there. Yes. Nakona, I think you're going to be in line to get some pretty significant freezing rain tomorrow. Alney, some pretty significant freezing rain headed towards you, Shelley. I would, Debbie, I do not recommend heading to the stock show, Fort Worth Stock Show tomorrow. In fact, I imagine that'll be canceled. It's a mess. I mean, it is a mess. They shut down most roadways in Dallas last night. I'm sure they're the same way today. It's a mess down there. Remember to follow me on my Facebook page. That number on the follower goal up there you see is actually too low. It doesn't. It's supposed to update, but it doesn't update accurately a lot of times. The likes the followers are actually up a bit more than that now, but I still got a ways to go to get to my 32,000 by the time we get to March the 1st. So remember to follow my page or like it, whatever choice it gives you, and subscribe to my YouTube page. There it is, meteorologist Ken Johnson. Or you can just call me KJ. That's what people are calling me on here now. That's fine. Yeah, the fur babies are in the house. Here's Lucky. Lucky's got his head underneath the bed. Crazy dog. Lucky, come here. Everybody wants to see you. He's got string hanging. Come here, buddy. He's being lazy. He doesn't want to get up. Come here, Luck. Come here. Come here, buddy. Yeah, he's not going to get up. He's down there. He's nice and warm in the room with Daddy this morning, so he's happy. All right, let's get back to questions. I can't, Shane. How in the world do they not cancel the stock show? Yeah, my Wi-Fi. I don't think it's the Wi-Fi. I think honestly. So, Gayla says the internet is bad. Oh, I keep cutting in and out. I thought it was me. About to say it's not. I don't think it's my Wi-Fi. I think it's my computer. It's just computer's just not. It's just old. I need a new one. So donate to the fund to get a new computer. No, I'm not asking for money. That's for sure. All right, so Brittany Whitlock wants to know, thanks for the update and answering questions. I was curious about Graham too. It seems like we got the least of it. Yeah, you have. It's just not been and if you watched me Sunday night, I told you the stuff that we had. There's Lucky. Hey, buddy. Come and say hi. Everybody wants to see you. Come here. There's Lucky. That was the one that was missing that a Good Samaritan found in the middle of the night for me. Well, my wife and I we've been crushed over losing Coda, but that's the baby right there. If something happened to him, whew, that would have been rough. He's a good boy. He's a really good boy. You can see him there staring. Are you cold, Lucky? Yep, he laid down. Remember when I had him on? I need to bring him back on TV. Yeah, again, if you're watching me Sunday night, I told you that it looked like most of what we were going to see early this week was going to be pretty. And there's Miley barking in the background. So I told you this was going to be light, and early on it is light. And I said that Wednesday would be the day if temperatures could stay cold enough for a more significant event, and it looks like it's going to. So I know we've just been kind of teased so far, but I think truly that tomorrow, at least across parts of the area, will be the real deal. Kelly wants to know if things start melting Thursday, will it refreeze overnight into Friday? It could. There could be some black ice Friday morning. But in general, hopefully we get well above freezing on Thursday. Matter of fact, by Friday I have this in the 50s, so we should melt off all this by the weekend. But unfortunately, a lot of times when that ice weights down these trees and power lines, even when it starts to melting, it starts to do like this, and sometimes you can get additional power outages with that. Yeah, there's a lots of wrecks out there. What we've seen the last 2 days at least, have mostly just been a situation where we are dealing with slick roadways, winter weather advisory type things. Yeah, I know, Jamie, but you're going to get some tomorrow. But I don't think that you're going to get the bulk of it. I think the bulk of it's going to be just southeast of you. Vernon will get some tomorrow. You'll get slick tomorrow, but it looks like it's going to be worse southeast of you. My buddy Darren Beaver says Warika looks to be in it as well. I know you're enjoying feeding this cattle, buddy. Looks like I missed one here. Cook's Children's is closed for today, and I'm sure it will be for tomorrow as well. That's from Linda Posey. Thanks, Linda, for that update. A lot of people go to Cook's. Greg Arrington wants to know, is roads bad in Holiday? Yes, they is. I'm just kidding with you, man. I know you meant to say are roads bad in Holiday. Yeah, they are. They're pretty slick in Holiday. I'm in Lakeside City, and it's everything's a mess outside, so. Yes, Jessica, I think Wichita is going to be part of the ice storm tomorrow. Even though the Weather Service doesn't have us in a winter storm warning, and I don't issue those, I'm going to go ahead and just say, let's go ahead and put us in. Let's go ahead and just put us in one. Just from me to you, I think we should be in an ice storm warning for tomorrow. But that's just me. Main stuff is tomorrow, Erica. Erica. Once you start seeing ice amounts get up above a tenth of an inch, you start running into. Chuck wants to know how much my ice are thinking on power lines in and around. But I think he meant to say is how much ice are you thinking might get on power lines around Bowie, and it could be above a half inch if everything comes together. Keep in mind, if everything comes together. I'm thinking that those areas could be pretty bad. And again, power outages will become an issue if we do indeed get this freezing rain that starts accumulating. Anytime you get above a tenth of an inch of ice that starts accumulating on trees and on power lines, that's when it starts to weight them down a little bit. And you can get some power outages with that. But when you start seeing those ice amounts on those objects getting above, let's say 2/10 of an inch or up near a quarter of an inch, that's when you really start to see the power outages occur, especially if you throw any wind into the mix. I don't think tomorrow will be very windy, so that does help us some. Then you start looking at those ice amounts that start getting above 3/10 of an inch and maybe up closer to a half an inch. Then you start running into some serious problems. And anything above that is just catastrophic. I can remember when I was a kid, and here goes story time for you. When I was a kid living in Mississippi, about this time of year, there was a big ice storm in the Delta. And for those of you that don't know, the Delta region of Mississippi is very much like the terrain here. It's real flat. There's a few trees around, but not a lot. It's a lot of farmland is what it is. It's north of Vicksburg. So you think about Mississippi, you think about Arkansas, Louisiana, East Texas, a lot of trees. And there are a lot of trees. There's a thick forested areas. But you get out of that area, it's the Delta. It's real flat. And that same way over in northeast Louisiana, eastern Arkansas. So they had a big ice storm up there. So I think it was in maybe 94 maybe. So I'm at my house in Jackson. And, actually it wasn't Jackson. I guess it's more like Clinton, Raymond area, if you're familiar with Mississippi. This is back when I was a weather nut, and I think it may have been 93. I guess it was 92 or 93, early 90s. But anyway, big ice storm up there. We didn't get anything. I remember it was 35 degrees outside. We had thunderstorms producing hail, and the hail stuck on the ground. It was around for a couple days. But we didn't get the big ice storm there. Temperatures were just a little bit too warm. But you drove about 30, 45 minutes north of us and you started getting into it. Then you got into the Delta of Mississippi and it was just a clobbering, catastrophic ice storm. I think they had in some instances a couple of inches of ice and everything was destroyed. All the trees, all the power lines, everything. Ice can really create problems when you get those big ice accumulations up close and above an inch. But what we're dealing with isn't catastrophic, but it is enough to create tree damage and enough to create power outages tomorrow. So we're going to be more worried about that. And again, wants to know, start breaking poles. Again, you get up above an inch and it starts breaking poles in. Ron O'Malley, which is in Austin, he wants to know if ice storm warning, what area do you think it will be issued for? The Weather Service does those, but, I'm thinking southeastern parts of Texoma from Wichita Falls. That was a gag gift, by the way, at Christmas, but I'll drink coffee out of it. What was I going to say? If they do issue ice storm warning, if I had to draw one, I would draw it from about, maybe down near the Abilene area, go up to Graham, Archer City, Wichita Falls, then go to Waurika, Duncan, and go southeast from there. I don't think that would extend down into the Austin area. Austin looks to have really dodged a bullet. There's some sleet and freezing rain down there tomorrow, but I don't expect the worst of it to hit you. I really thought looking at data on Sunday night you were going to get nailed, but it looks like the worst of it kind of missed you. Just again, morning. There's an ice storm warning by Guthrie. Is that in Oklahoma, Guthrie, Oklahoma? I do think that we'll see this stuff maybe in the morning, but probably most of it afternoon and tomorrow night. Xavier wants to know, so I'm assuming the highways are in the same conditions from yesterday. Yeah, they're about the same as yesterday. Matter of fact, identical. Chuck, you want freezing rain. You won't sleet over freezing rain. Again, we can deal with that. This is traffic. That's not an issue. You can stay home. But when you start dealing with the freezing rain, that's when you start worrying about power outages. So if you haven't gone to the grocery store, and you need to venture out for a little bit, just be careful. Get you some essentials. Make sure you have water. Just be prepared to perhaps be without power. I'm not saying you're going to lose it. We might get through this one okay, but just be prepared. Make sure you got plenty of firewood up at the house. Matter of fact, when I get done with the stream here in just a minute, I got to go down to the shed and pull up some more firewood because I'm about out. Just have blankets, have ways to stay warm, keep your fur babies, keep them warm. Hopefully the power crews, which they're real busy, they're going to be busy. Across Arkansas, there's been some power outages, northeast Texas, southeast Oklahoma. We might see more of that over our way. So we'll have to keep a close eye on it, and hopefully they'll do a good job about restoring power. Those guys are real heroes, and that's a very dangerous job they do, especially after ice storm hits, because all it takes is one hot wire. Very dangerous. All right, well, that is really all I got for right now. I will be doing another update with the afternoon data once I get to work and I do my forecast and update things. And then we'll do another update tonight and answer some questions. I'm not sure exactly what time that'll be yet, but sometime this afternoon. And then again this evening at some point in time. Then tomorrow I'll have updates off and on throughout the day. So, all right, well, again, follow my... Michelle, and God bless your husband. Worked since 5:30 yesterday, working on a power plant. God bless him. So remember to follow my Facebook page, subscribe to my YouTube page. YouTube is such a better platform for this, just such a better platform. And thank you for your service there, Chuck. That's a very dangerous job you have. Everything's just better on YouTube than Facebook. But I'm not going to stop Facebook. But we do a lot of I do a lot of YouTube stuff. So a little TikTok stuff. But I don't have access to do at least I can do it from my phone. I just can't do it from my PC. TikTok lives. I need to get access to that. I've been looking at other platforms too. Which there's so many of them out there. You just would be surprised how many of them are out there. All right, well, I am going to let you go, and I will have an update again at some point, probably around 3:30, if I had to say so myself. But I'll send an update out around that time when I get ready to do it. We'll have a look at the afternoon weather